Kaelen didn't hesitate. He moved with a speed that defied his size. Silas, take her, he roared, launching himself at the Inquisitor. Fire and green necrosis collided, the shockwave rattling the teeth in my skull. Silas grabbed my hand, adrenaline overriding his pain. We have to flank him. Can you do that again? The blast. I don't know, I yelled over the din. I just touched it. Then touch it again. Silas shoved the satchel into my arms, but aim it this time. In the center of the cavern, Kaelen was a whirlwind of steel and flame, but Vane was absorbing his fire, growing more monstrous. Kaelen took a hit, a blast of green energy that sent him skidding backward, his armor smoking. No, I screamed, fear spiked, and with it the connection to the egg. It wasn't cold this time, it was hunger. The egg wanted to feed on Vane's power. I ripped the egg from the satchel. It was a sphere of pure obsidian, veined with violet light. I held it up, channeling every ounce of my terror and rage into it. Eat, I screamed. The egg didn't blast energy, it inhaled it. A vortex of shadow opened above my head, ripping the necromantic energy from Vane. He shrieked as his power was stripped away, leaving him just a man in metal. Kaelen saw the opening. He lunged, his broadsword flashing, and knocked the Inquisitor unconscious. The vortex collapsed, the egg dropped from my numb fingers. The world tilted, Kaelen caught me. Silas limped over, collapsing beside us. We were a pile of bruised, battered bodies on the floor of a tomb. You, Kaelen panted, looking down at me with awe and something darker, hungrier. You stripped a grand Inquisitor of his magic. I think the egg did it, I whispered, leaning into his warmth, feeling utterly drained. You commanded it, Silas said softly. He reached out, his hand covering mine where it rested on Kaelen's chest. We are in so much trouble. We're alive, Kaelen said, his gaze moving between us. We need to get to the surface, to the safe house in the crags. We emerged into the gray dawn and found a hidden cabin. Once inside, Kaelen tended to Silas's leg with practiced efficiency. I stood by the fire he'd lit, watching him. When he finished, he walked over to me. He didn't speak, just stood there, a mountain of a man smelling of smoke and blood and victory. You stayed, he said quietly. You could have run. We had a deal, I said, my voice unsteady. No omelets. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. He reached out, running a rough thumb over my lower lip. The touch was electric, a promise. Silas and I are fugitives now, bound to you. The magic of that egg linked us. I can feel you, in my blood. My breath hitched. What do you feel? He stepped closer, crowding me against the wall until all I could feel was his heat. All I could smell was him. I can feel your heartbeat. I can feel your want. And what do I want? Kaelen leaned down, his lips brushing my ear, his breath a hot caress on my skin. You want to not be alone anymore, and you want to know if the fire burns as hot in the bed as it does on the battlefield. I swallowed hard, my gaze flickering towards Silas, who watched us from the cot with knowing, jade-green eyes. Maybe, I whispered. Kaelen kissed me then. It wasn't gentle. It was acclaiming, hot, deep, and tasting of survival and desperation. I melted into him, my hands tangling in his hair, kissing him back with all the fight I had left. From the cot, I heard Silas groan, a sound of frustration and raw promise. Kaelen pulled back, breathless, his forehead resting on mine. Rest now, he commanded softly, but tomorrow. Tomorrow, I breathed. Tomorrow we figure out how to tame a dragon, Silas called out, his voice laced with weary amusement, and how to share. I looked at the obsidian egg, then at the two men who had hunted me, saved me, and now looked at me like I was the only treasure in the world. Tomorrow, I agreed. For the first time in my life, I wasn't running, I was home.